falling on my head. And just like the guy whose feet are too big for his bed, nothing seems to fit. Those raindrops are falling on my head, they keep falling. So I just did me some talking to the sun, and I said I didn't like the way he got things done, sleeping on the job. Those raindrops are falling on my head, they keep falling. But there's one thing I know, the blues they send to meet me won't defeat me. It won't be long till happiness steps up to greet me. Raindrops keep falling on my head, but that doesn't mean my eyes will soon be turning red. Crying's not for me, 'cause I'm never gonna stop the rain by complaining, because I'm free. Nothing's worrying me. It won't be long till happiness steps up to greet me. Raindrops keep falling on my head, but that doesn't mean my eyes will soon be turning red. Crying's not for me, 'cause I'm never gonna stop the rain by complaining, because I'm free. Nothing's worrying me.
You want to know about Merrill College? Talk to Charles Merrill. You know, he fought his family to put the money into the college, into this little progressive college in Santa Cruz.
A time to heal, a time to laugh, a time to read.
We came in 1968, and what was at the heart of what we were doing was politics. You know, 1968, the Vietnam War was absolutely at its height. The anti-war movement was at its height. The cities were burning. There was racial tension and enmity and battles in the United States. There were assassinations of Bobby Kennedy and Martin Luther King. The Democratic Party was collapsing. There was the Chicago summer. It was in the midst of that Merrill College was founded.
Mother, mother, there's too many of you crying.
You've got to understand that this was 1968, and there were political things happening everywhere in the world, not just in this country.
You know we've got to find a way to bring some loving here today. Yeah. Father, Father, we don't need to escalate. You see, war is not the answer, for only love can conquer hate. You know we've got to find a way to bring some love in here today.
You
could say that Merrill at that time was a social movement college. The faculty and students and staff were very heavily involved in the anti-war movement.
And many of the young faculty had been politically active on the campuses where they had been graduate students before they came to Santa Cruz. So it was a natural thing for those faculty to continue that political activism.
Students would just suddenly one day they would not be there because their draft number was coming up, and either they would take precautionary measures and move to Canada or go underground, or who knew what exactly had happened. So there's this sort of reality of the society around us that was already present, and it created a very powerful sort of political and intellectual dynamic in the college.
Everybody thinks we're at home. Oh, but who are they to judge us? Simply cause our hair is long.
For about the first 30 years or so, it was always called Social Change in the Third World, and it pretty much always used text written by indigenous peoples wherever they were. And so it was a very unusual course. And you know, looking back at it now from 41 years later, it was a really remarkable experiment that we pulled off without really understanding how potentially important this was.
As it was explained to me by Phil Bell, the founding provost, was to organize an undergraduate education for young Californians and others around the understanding of what we then comfortably called the Third World.
Come on, people now, smile on your brother, everybody get together, try to love one another right now.
My first spring here, I taught a sociology course called Social Change in the United States. It was a wildly popular class. We had rock music blasting from the stage, and the students divided themselves into self-taught sections, some on the media and some on the military and some on the racial issues. The United States invaded Cambodia in the spring of 1969. The campus went into an uproar, and my class turned out to be the sort of organizing center for the whole campus.
Come on, people now, smile on your brother, everybody get together, try to love one another right now. Come on, people now, smile on your brother, everybody get together, try to love one another right now.
Because we took seriously the original starting proposition that this country's future is going to be a lot cheerier if we help develop a generation of young Americans who actually know something about this world.
The Merrill Field Program, again, was really quite revolutionary because it took undergraduates and put them out into the field.
Come on, people now, smile on your brother, everybody get together, try to love one another right now.
Ran the Merrill College Field Program for Experiential Learning until 1993.
Okay.
When the college started, the idea was it was going to be like Antioch College. Everybody was supposed to do field work.
But people would be on a kibbutz in Israel, they'd be in a school in Ghana, they'd be in all over the world.
I want to go to Czechoslovakia. And I said, why do you want to go there? And she said, well, I have a grandmother there or something, or a great relative. So she went off to do two projects, one at a women's center and one to write about this relative.
Then they'd come back, and the expectation was that they would somehow pour what they had learned back into the life of the campus.
The field study program was a great program.
The world's a wonderful place. Go have fun and make it better.
question was what was our relationship to the revolution?
Come on, people now, smile on your brother, everybody get together, try to love one another right now. Come on, people now, smile on your brother, everybody get together, try to love one another right now.
This is another aspect of Merrill. It's been hospitable to people from other countries in a way that I don't think every university is.
Get that global perspective, understand other cultures. You don't have to necessarily believe everything that they tell you. You pick and choose, but you learn to respect them.
Lourdes has brought speakers to the campus who've enriched the academic programs and just the intellectual life of the campus in wonderful ways. And so in that sense, I think that she continues the tradition of Merrill College with its interest in the third world, however that term now is understood, and cultures from many parts of the world. So I think that Merrill has a particularly important place among the colleges because of that intellectual and academic emphasis.
Amazing thing about Merrill that really affected me was that opportunity to have multiple cultural experiences.
I think that Santa Cruz remains a wonderful place to be an undergraduate, and one of the reasons that it's a wonderful place is because of the residential colleges, which make this into a more humane, a more personal environment in which to study.
What I think you want to get out of college education is you want to make some friends, and that's important.
Community is probably an overused word, even at Merrill, where there is something of a community, but it does mean something, and it means that there's more to life than looking out for your own self-interest.
Means that students themselves have to take more initiative in creating and involving in their own social and cultural activities, and challenge and create a life within the college.
But I often say people should do some field study, because for me, I went to a high-powered college and my confidence was not gained at the college. I did okay. It was gained from working with the YMCA in Venezuela for 15 months and going into the Peace Corps early on to the Philippines. The doing thing.
You give, you don't take. There's an old Tom Lehrer lyric about doing well by doing good.
Because everything comes from somewhere and everything is headed for somewhere. And present-centeredness, though exhilarating and understandable in young people, or old people for that matter, is not the way to solve any problem. In order to get where we want to go, we got to know where we came from.
I also enjoy climbing this hill and like practically croaking.
The trees have grown so much. Because when I first came here, I had an office in the academic building that looked out toward the Monterey Bay. And you could look out over the trees and see the water. And you can't look out over the trees and see the water now because the trees have grown up.
The University of California is a complex institution. It's not a person. It doesn't have a conscience, it doesn't have a heart, it doesn't even have a brain.